And we're started. So I just want to welcome you all along to the webinar today. We've got a lot to cover in this webinar. So what we're going to be doing is talking about Market Samurai to help you guys understand it better so you can then take it and apply these things to your business or your particular niche as well. So got on the line today, we've got Shane and Phil on the line today with us. We're just going to be covering a number of different things, and we're sort of going to be breaking it down. Just quickly click there. Yeah, so on the line we have Phil Squires and Shane Johnston, and obviously myself, Carl. So what we're going to be doing today is a number of different things. So first of all, I'm going to get probably Shane to kick things off in a second though. But first of all, what I want to do first is just cover some housekeeping tips, mainly because there's a lot of people, there's different variations of expertise on the line, and I want to make sure that we cover things so you understand it in a practical sense. So just to give you a bit of a heads up for those that don't know and maybe a little bit lost in the whole terminology thing, if you are ever stuck, make sure you drop it into the question box to say, hey, slow down a bit, or hey, what does that mean? And if we don't get to your question straight away, we can always answer that outside the webinar. We'll have a list of all the questions that were asked, and we'll send a email out later on. So the first thing I do want to cover is a thing called terminology, and the first thing on that one is the page rank. Now there are a number of different elements that make up page rank, but in essence what we're talking about here is your authority, or your what we call it's pretty much your authority with Google. So say for example, Facebook.com is like a 10 out of 10. So obviously the higher it is, it's on a scale from 1 to 10. The first one is obviously 0 or non-existent, and it goes all the way up to 10. So the higher your page rank is, the more Google, I guess what you could say, trust you. So it's more like a trust factor as well. The next one along the list is obviously some Google operators. Now you're going to hear us talking about Google operators and keyword modifiers. I'll be covering a lot of stuff in the Google operators. It's in regards to, if you saw my previous webinar, you would have seen me do an advanced search on how to do things, and using the OR command or the OR operator, and we'll cover those probably maybe at the end of the webinar. And what we're also going to be looking at today, particularly in the area of keywords, is the keyword modifiers. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a list available that I've sort of put together myself, that is it's going to help you in regards to finding specific keywords that are relevant to your niche, and depending what model you are choosing to operate with. Now there are a number of different models, like for example if you have an e-commerce site, you would look for different types of keywords in your niche, different from somebody who's doing a review site, and different from somebody who has a local business like a photography business in Ontario, Canada, for example's sake. So what we're going to be doing later on is covering a lot of these, and both the guys and myself will be pretty much filling you in. So I just wanted to sort of bring that to light, and if there's any sort of other questions that you want covered, make sure you put them into the actual chat box. So without further ado, I'm just going to introduce Shane to you. Now obviously Shane's been on the VTA group for a little while now. I've got to know him after a few chats with him the other day, and we just had a brief chat about where he's at. So I'm just going to cover some of the things that he's going to be sharing with you today. Obviously he's going to cover the aspects of a diagram of the SEO triad, Shane's 7-step to ranking utopia, demo 2 techniques in order to get quality backlinks. Now the other thing too, just to cover that as well, what both Shane and I think Phil as well and myself, we're going to show you some live examples of what we've managed to achieve. In other words, some case studies, because there's a lot of guys out there asking and wanting case studies. So, and then the other thing he's going to be covering is understanding the user intent with search marketing, and also the summary and a bit of a case study if he wants to share some of those. So what I'm going to do quickly now is switch this over to Shane.
All set, Carl?
Alrighty, let's go.
Okay, first of all, can everyone hear me? Are you getting some yeses there, Carl?
Yep, we certainly are. We're getting some yeses from Rebecca.
Excellent. And you can see my screen okay?
Yes. What about everybody else? Put a yes and a yes if you can see the screen and hear Shane. Looks like we're getting some yeses.
Okay, fabulous.
Yes,
Excellent.
excellent, cool.
Okay, thanks so much for that great little intro, Carl.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to quickly go down your list of things to make sure I had covered everything. And I think I have pretty much covered everything except one exception. I'm going to give you guys the free method for getting some backlinks here.
Great.
The paid method obviously is using Market Samurai. And both Carl and Phil, I think, are going to demo a little bit more of Market Samurai. So I thought I would kind of lean away from the Market Samurai piece and give you the free ability to get the backlinks.
Fantastic.
And just in light of the time that we have here, okay? And then if somebody wants to see the paid version, I can do a separate video for that.
Excellent. Great.
All
Take
right.
it away.
So let's go. So the SEO triad is what my presentation is about here. So basically it's, how you get quality backlinks so that you can get your ranking levels up. I've had quite a few people asking me about, how do you do these backlinks? How do you go get them? And how do you ensure that they're good quality? So what I want to start with first is that in terms of SEO, I'm not going to go back into detailed SEO, but in terms of the last couple of algorithm updates that Google has done, there, as you can see here on the screen, there's 3 components that they look at. Content, which is obviously one of them, and it always has been. But the last couple of algorithm updates, content is, I'm not going to say it's unimportant. It's obviously important. If you don't have good content, then you're not serving the customers that are doing the searches. But it's less of a factor. A bigger factor is having quality backlinks going to that content with proper anchor text telling the Google Spider basically what that content is about. So I'm going to show you an example of that in a little bit. And the other thing is, once you go get those backlinks, you have to show some activity through the backlinks to the content. And by that, I mean things like, for example, putting an update into your Facebook, or putting an update into Twitter. So social media is a big component of it. It could be putting an update into an RSS feed like FeedBurner. It could be doing a ping through Pingler. So basically what Google is looking for is that not only are you producing good content and that you're getting backlinks to that content, but also that there is real human activity going through those links to view the content when you do a search through the Google interface.
So what you're saying, Shane, what you're saying there is obviously what you call the buzz factor. Is that correct?
Exactly, exactly. So some people say it's, if it goes viral, but you don't. I don't like to use the word viral because that conjures up images of that. You need to have activity in the thousands or millions, and that's not true. In terms of views of your YouTube video, or in terms of a connection, say, through your Facebook page back to see your content, what I'm talking about here is you just got to get enough to prime the pump. Because Google wants to know that there's just been so much spam out there, so many content farms, and now in terms of backlinking, there's so many automated and robotic ways of doing backlinks that Google is trying to ensure that there's real human activity and that activity is actually viewing your content. And if it's things like Facebook and Google Plus, that they are plussing it, they are liking it, they are sharing it out themselves. Google just wants to see that there's real live human activity, and that's their big indicator, a big factor that tells them that this is a real site.
Actually, just on that, Shane,
real humans behind it.
Can you actually tell the people on the call what a content farm is for those that don't know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, basically, a content farm is just a large website that has a lot of articles that are being published, or posts that are being published about a particular a topic. And the reason that you would want to do this, or the reason that people used to build content farms, was because content was a very huge factor in the algorithm. So they knew if they had lots of content and they keyword stuffed it, that they would get to the top of the rankings, and that's just not the case anymore.
Yeah, okay.
Content farms are actually being delisted from the SERPs now.
Like the likes of like e-zine articles, would that be like a content farm?
Well, not so much. Article marketing is still okay, and I wouldn't dissuade anyone from putting a few articles out there. That's fine, but where you're getting duplicate content and you're stuffing it with keywords and you're putting the same thing that's out there all over the place, that's just not valuable content in the eye of somebody who's doing a search. And therefore it's not very valuable content in the eye of Google, because they're not servicing their customers very well, if that's the case. So as I go through this and we talk about where to go find the good quality backlinks, occasionally there are still these kind of commercial sites, I call them, the content farms or commercial sites. And what I would suggest to you is when you're doing your backlinks, try and stay away. You can tell as soon as you land on one of these things, you can tell that it's just stuff full of stuff. It usually has AdWord ads, where all they're doing is they're trying to get clicks, and they're trying to make money through those clicks. So I would suggest that as you're going through what I'm teaching you here, and you're getting your backlinks, just when you do a search and you find one of these sites, just don't do a backlink from one of those sites, because there's a chance that Google could, I'm not going to say delist you, but they'll definitely give you a lower quality score for it.
So can you just quickly cover what a quality score would, say, for example, entail, just for the people listening on the line?
Well, the easiest way to tell is, in terms of quality score, is the number of backlinks that are coming to your site or to your page, to your domain, and the PR ranking of those links, as well as how many there are, and what is the anchor text that's underscoring the hyperlink to that backlink. And so for anyone who doesn't know what anchor text is, that's just simply the word you click on that has the hyperlink in it. So for example, if I was going to optimize for something like best tattoo artist, and I was doing a backlink from another tattoo site into my YouTube page or into my blog, what I would want to do is make sure that the hyperlink was underscored with that search term. So in other words, it would be best tattoo artist. You click on that word and come back to it, because that's what Google is going to be able to read when they spider the backlink. They're going to see best tattoo artist. They're going to scan that with the spider. They're going to follow the link back. They're going to tell what the PR of the page that sent it there was, and then when they arrive at your site, they're going to scan the information that's on your site. And if you have common vocabulary, particularly if you have the same keyword, then they're going to give you a better quality score for that. So that's a great thing.
Great.
Make sense?
Fantastic. That's good.
Okay, so in terms of click-through rates, this is what's so important about getting your SEO and getting your backlinks done well, because it's kind of a good news, bad news story. This is the click-through rates for organic search engine results. So by that I mean the non-pay-per-click, the stuff that's at the top and the stuff that's at the right side of the Google search engine results page. So this is all the top 10, so that's the first page of Google. This is the typical results that you would get in terms of click-through rates. So as you can see, the #1 result is dominated here. You're getting, now this was done by AOL, this was a research thing done by AOL about 5 years ago, but what we're finding is that this is pretty typical of the click-through rates even still today. The #1 organic result is by far the best one you can get, so that's what we're trying to go for here, obviously.
So what you're saying is like you need to be #1 in order to get that 42.13% of all the click-throughs. Wow.
Exactly. So when you guys show how you're going to do your keyword research in Market Samurai, let's say, for example, that a particular keyword came up and it said, there's 100 searches per day for that keyword, then we know that if we're in the #1 spot, we're going to get approximately 42. It's a range. It's about 40 to 45%. So you're going to get somewhere around that many clicks for 100 visitors, or sorry, for 100 people searching on that keyword. In the #2 position, you can see it's typically a range from, it says 11.9%. I find that it's typically anywhere between 10 and 15%. Then it drops to under 10, then under 6, and then after that it's just a dribbling for the rest of them. Sometimes, however, as you can see on the number 10, they're saying 2.9%. My search findings, my results, are saying that sometimes that last one, you can even have a bump up to as much as between 5 and 10% of the click-through. Probably because people look at the first couple of results and then they might scan to the bottom.
Yeah, sorry, just a quick question. Sorry, just a quick question from Neil there. I'm presuming he's talking about how has the map listing changed that diagram? So I'm presuming like Google Maps, when you do like a local result, what would be the, have you got any estimates of what the click-throughs would that be? I'm presuming it would be the same.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very similar. The difference there is when you have a geographic identifier, obviously, if you have optimized for a Google Places page, then it's much easier to come up, you know, #1 than even video is for a non-geographic identifier in the search term.
Yeah,
but in terms of click-through rates, you're looking at the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to show you a heat map here that shows you why that is in the next slide here.
Cool.
Oh, actually, it's in 2 slides.
Okay, so hopefully that's answered your
few...
question, Neil.
Does that answer his question?
I'll wait for him to come back. Just continue on.
Okay. So all I've done is I've translated that pie chart into an actual search engine result page. As you can see here, I picked a big one, that consolidation. That's a heavy-duty one. And as you can see at the top, the paid search right at the very top, you'd think that people would click on those ones on the top. But and that used to be the case. But over the last couple of years, particularly the last couple of years, the pay-per-click at the top, people recognize, you know, that's paid search. They know that's an advertisement, and they know that if they click on it, they're going to be faced with somebody who's trying to sell them something, right? Mm-hmm. So what's happened over time is that those the banners that appear at the top of even a website, as well as any kind of advertisement that's sitting at the top, because everyone knows those top ones are only getting about 2 to 3% of the click-through rate. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's so much more important that we try to get an organic result, and that's why James Wedmore has said, you know, use this this video technique, and if you can get it backlinked and get proper anchor text telling Google what it's about, you're much, much more likely to get the #1 organic result. Yeah. So and you can get it fairly quickly too, as we've seen. Mm-hmm. So that's a great thing because you're going to get 40 to 45% of the click-throughs. #2, it cut off there, but it's between 9 and 15%. And even the pay-per-click results over to the right-hand column, they're even less than the top ones, so 1 to 2%. So that's why it's become ever so much more important for us to get to the top in the organic search. Here's a little heat map, and as you can see on the bottom, I've given this was taken from a white paper done by pages.enquiro.com. So you can go there and you can actually download the entire white paper that explains to you about heat maps and about these click-through rates. And as a matter of fact, you can even get your own heat map software through clicktail.com, and you can install that on your own website so that you can watch and see where people click.
Can you just give a brief explanation? Sorry, Phil. Sorry, Shane. Can you just give a brief explanation for the people on the call that don't understand what the purpose of a heat map is?
Sure, absolutely. So what we're looking at here, you can see up to the top left-hand corner, you can see where it's turning red and the outskirts is a little bit orangey yellow color. That's known as the golden triangle. And the reason that it's all red is because with heat map software, we can tell where people are looking just by where they're putting their mouse pointer. Mm-hmm. Not just where they're clicking, but where are they putting their mouse pointer, and so that is an indication of where they're actually reading on the page. And so what heat maps have found is that this is typical of most web pages, not just a Google search engine result. And so you're looking at that golden triangle, you can tell most of the clicks are occurring in that top left-hand corner.
Very interesting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, not just clicks, but actual just people looking. So in North America, we read left to right, top to bottom. So as you can see, that golden triangle kind of follows that same rule. And that's one of the reasons that we want to be able to get up into that top left-hand corner, because it's just a natural psychological trigger for us to want to read what's up in that left corner. So think about that too when you're...
Question there. Would that, just for the people on the call as well, would that be the same for a website, or would that slightly change?
It would be very, very similar for a website. So if you think about this, if you have a website and you're doing e-commerce on it, let's say, for example, let's say you're selling wedding favors, and so they click into the area that shows the catalog. So that means that anything that's appearing on that top left-hand corner is more likely to be clicked. So what you want to do is ensure that you're putting your most popular, most purchased items, best items up in that left corner, and you're putting proper images. If people love to click on images, they love to look at images. So, or if you're doing a blog post, let's say for example, and you know how you do one of the little thumbnail images, or even if you put an image in there, what you want to do is put an image in there that looks nice. It looks like something that they would like, and try to make it clickable, so that if they click on it, they're going to go to either an opt-in page or they're going to go to something that you're selling.
So what you're saying, so what you're saying there is the thing that you want them to click on the most, you would actually put within that golden, the gold triangles, as you said.
Exactly. And so the reason I bring all of this up is just, so that when you're building your pages, you can do that, and also it kind of explains why we want to get up to that top corner for search engine results, with the exception of pay-per-click, because everyone knows that the paid ads are there and they don't really want to click on them.
Yeah, that's good
all
stuff.
right.
Yeah, great.
So now this slide, I probably should have separated this into three. It may be a little hard to see, but these three images are from Market Samurai, and they are the exact same images that I did in the previous video for Neil Howe. And so hopefully, Neil, you're okay with me using these as an example here. And so all I did was I broke out, he gave me his main term that he wanted to rank for, which was dental marketing. So all I did was I went into, for those that have Market Samurai, I went into the SEO competition module, the SEOC module, and I did generate results so that I could generate the results for the top 10 websites. And based on the top 10 websites, the key factor, I'm not going to get into all this because I think Carl and Phil are going to, but the key factor for me when I'm talking about backlinks are these two columns right here, which are backlinks to the page. I know that's a little hard to see. You don't need to read it. You just need to understand what I'm doing here.
Yeah, we'll do a demo of this later.
Pardon me?
We'll do a demo of this later so people can actually see like the actual steps involved. That's okay.
Sure. And these ones are backlinks to the domain, and that's what we want to measure. So all I did was I looked at that and I compared his top competition with his native link domain name, as well as his deep link domain name, which goes to the page where he's selling or where he's talking about dental marketing. And then I further split that out and went into, all I did was I dropped down on this little drop-down menu, and I was able to actually do a page rank analysis as well as an anchor text analysis. And so that's what this column is that we're looking at here. All you need to know is that his competition had a couple of PR4 backlinks and then a bunch of PR3 backlinks. Now, you may not be able to read this, but it actually says dental marketing and dental advertising, and it's similar right down the row here of all the PR3s. So what that's telling me is that this website, which is his competition, and this is the one he wanted to beat, they used the very keywords that he wants to rank for. They used that as their anchor text. So by anchor text, again, that just simply means that's what you're clicking on. That's the hyperlink point that you're clicking on from one website to click on the backlink going back to your website or going back to your video if that's where you backlink to. And so that's very important, because as the Google Spider comes along and scans that backlink, it's going to read the anchor text and it's going to say, oh, okay, so I guess that backlink is about dental marketing. Now, down here, you probably can't read this, but when we analyzed Neil's website for his backlinks, he has done a much better job. He's got some higher ranking PR backlinks here. Now, I think these are YouTube ones, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get the anchor text there, but I'll show you a trick to do that in a little while. But basically, his anchor text for a number of his backlinks are just his website name. So when Google Spider scans that, it's going to look at the website name and determine that that's what that backlink is about instead of the keyword. Now, that's okay. You want to have some native link or some naked link backlinks too. But if you really want to rank for the keyword dental marketing, you've got to find some good high PR backlinks or high PR websites to backlink from with the anchor text that you want to use. So that's the only point that I wanted to make there. I didn't want to really demo Market Samurai. The other guys will show you that. I just wanted to get the theory across. So in terms of how I go about ranking one of my clients, by the way, I look after private clients in the local market.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've done is I've kind of developed sort of a 7-step simple process that even some of my business clients now can follow. I have one, for example, that just started doing his own backlinks. And he's going crazy. He's doing about 10 backlinks a day now, mm-hmm, from all sorts of different locations, just by following this very same step. So obviously the first one is create your video content. I much prefer video content now than, you know, article marketing, doing posts and that kind of thing. And I take I do the 666 method, which basically it's not the sign of the devil. It is merely the approach that I take with, you know, because for business people, they get a little shy in front of the camera and they're just not sure what to say and, you know, how do I do this and what kind of content do I put in these videos. So what I tell them is just take your, and this is not my idea, I actually got this from Mike Koenigs from Traffic Geyser when I took the Main Street Marketing course. And so all you do is you take your 6 most frequently asked questions and you simply break those down into 6 videos and just answer those questions. The next 6 is you take the 6 should ask questions. So probably they're questions that you think your clients should be asking, but they typically don't. And only a client would know that. They know their business, so they know what kinds of questions. So now you've got 12 videos based on 12 questions. And if you think about this, those questions are typically the obstacles to ownership. And if anyone on the call knows about copywriting, everybody knows you've got to overcome those obstacles or overcome the reasons that a person might not buy or a person might not take an action. And if we can overcome those obstacles one at a time, then it's kind of like we're solving their problems. And so what I've done here is I've said, you know, do these 12 videos without trying to sell anything. So we're delivering 80% content, and then later on the other 20% will be a call to action, which means, you know, come to the site, take a look at something else, opt in, or maybe even buy.
So what you're saying is like give a bit of free content away first in order to say, hey, here's some nice info. They obviously say, this person's giving away a lot of good stuff. I wouldn't mind finding out a bit more further. Would that be correct?
That's absolutely correct. And this is just a simple little formula for any business person to kind of understand what kind of things they can do in front of the camera. And they don't even have to be in front of the camera. It could be just a screen capture like we're doing today. Mm-hmm. But basically it gives them an easy way to get 12 videos out there, and then we can start ranking them from there. So now, roughly, the final 6.
Roughly how long would that take them to do? Like, say for example, like it's like a couple of minutes long. Now, do they do the edits as well?
No, when I look after my clients, I do all the editing, I do all the posting, and I do all the writing for the blog so that I can do all the backlinking.
Great.
So all I need them to do is, you know, it's better for them, for their end customers, if they're in front of a camera or it's their voice at least talking, because that way their prospects get to know, like, and trust them through this video content method.
Great, that's good.
So the final 6 of that 666 is just simply what I like to do. I do this little trick called I call it the Amazon trick. I tell them, go to Amazon.com and look up, you know, for your main keyword or maybe a couple of your main keywords, look up the top selling books or the most favorited books on Amazon.com. And what I want you to do is, you know how sometimes you can you see those top-rated books, and usually the top-rated books will come up with that little thing that says look inside or click inside. Yep. And you can actually view inside. You can see a couple of chapters. And if you scroll to the back of the book, typically you can see either the back flap or the back inside of the flap. Mm-hmm. And on that back flap, they typically will have bullet points that tell you what the book is about or what kind of content will be in there. Well, if it's a big publisher, and if it's, you know, ranked, you know, high on the Amazon list or high on the New York Times bestseller list, then I'll tell you right now, they have probably spent between $5,000 and $15,000 in market research to determine what kind of things are making people take action or what kinds of things are they interested in about that topic. So you just got yourself a free way to get $10,000 or $15,000 of market research based on your niche. Fantastic. Just by doing a little Amazon search. So it's a kind of a cool way. So what I tell them is go do that search, look around a little bit online based on these searches, and come up with a little bit more detailed content around those bullet points. because you know that if it's in one of those books and it's a top-selling book, and they've done $10,000 or $15,000 of market research on it, then it must be dynamite content. So what you want to do is create some more videos, and we'll do some more posts around that. And that usually, if they're in a kind of a tough niche or a tough competitive area, that will kick them right over. Usually we can get them ranking with the first 12, but if not, then that will kick them over.
One of the ones that I've found that works quite well when I tell my clients to do something similar is the Dummies or the Idiot's Guide to. Because it's literally, it spells it out for you in plain, simple English. I mean, they've found their niche, and it's obviously typically any subject. You go, oh, is there a dummies book on it? If so, then you pretty much got guaranteed content.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of times those books will actually come up in the top of the search in Amazon as well.
Yeah, so. particularly in the words of how to.
Exactly. Yeah, that's fantastic sources of content for So if you're having trouble, if you do service some end users and they're just having trouble coming up with ideas, that's the best way I know. It just works super every time. So that's the first one. The second one is, of course, we all know this, being in the VTA group, you upload to YouTube. And what I've typically done is I upload manually to YouTube. I do a manual description of however, and I try to max out the description field. A lot of times I'll go to upload and YouTube will say, yeah, you've got too much description. I like to err on the side of too much. And then what I'll do is I'll use my Traffic Geyser and I'll actually upload through Traffic Geyser to several other sites. You can do this manually.
Can you just quickly explain for the people on the call who don't necessarily know what Traffic Geyser is, or something like TubeMogul?
Yeah, well, TubeMogul is a free version of it. Traffic Geyser is a paid-for version, and basically what it allows you to do is save your video inside of that software with a title, tags, and a description, and you can even put your account for all the different video hosting sites right into it. So all you have to do is click the button once and write up your description fields once, and it will send it out to, I think I've got about 25 or 30 different video hosting sites that it goes to.
Wow.
Now, obviously YouTube is the monster video hosting site, and I don't like to use Traffic Geyser for that because it can cause some problems because you're using an automated software. I haven't yet found any issue with using it for the other sites. Sometimes, I don't know if YouTube, because it's owned by Google, has a way of telling if you're using automated software to upload it. I don't know why it should be a big issue. It's just, you're not trying to automatically, robotize several backlinks. You're just uploading videos. But
so what you're doing
I would do YouTube manually.
What you're basically saying is it's a mass distribution for video. Rather than going to every single site individually, you can upload to one spot, hit the publish button, and then it goes across to all your accounts.
That's right. And inside of there, you're going to get a naked link backlink from every one of those hosting sites back to your main page. And I would suggest that you do a WordPress blog for your main page and then post an article in there that it gets backlinked to. So now what's happening here is we're creating kind of a web of information that's out there in terms of these videos, and everything is backlinked back to a central point. So, and then of course you can post your transcript. You can do a transcript, or I kind of tend to like to just write something up, a post on the blog, and make it kind of personal, and so it doesn't look like it's been machine made. Talk conversationally. I think that's the best thing to do. You're a human that's running that blog, so don't look like you're a content farm. You want to talk conversationally. It's you that's talking. This is your thing. It must be something you're good at. So, show your stuff here. And all you really need to do is create a post that's maybe 300 to 500 words long. It doesn't take that long to do that. And then what I like to do is embed the YouTube video, or embed the video that you created right into your blog, and ensure that when you save the video, before you do your upload, save the video with your keyword name in the title of the file name. That's very important, because when the Google Spider comes and scans everything, it can't see video, it can't see pictures, but it can see the transcript, obviously, and it can see the name of the file that you uploaded. So any kind of graphics, any kind of pictures, any kind of video, make sure you save that with the file name with your keyword phrases as well.
So, for example, in Neil's case, his would be dentalmarketing.mov or .mp4. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And you could go, longer tail with it if you like. You could put a geographic identifier on it if you want, or you could say, dentist, dental marketing, or anything that is going to have that keyword phrase within it. You don't want to make it look like, if you're doing the 666 method, so you're creating these 18 videos and every single one of them has been saved dental marketing, then it's going to kind of look funny, right?
Mm-hmm.
So use common sense here and use your discretion about how you save those file names. But what I find is that a lot of people save it with the default file name which doesn't have a keyword in it. So that's very important. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do once you've done this upload and you've done your little post in the blog is you want to go get some initial backlinks. And I say, when you start out, if it's fresh and brand new, then go out and get 10 a day for a week. And afterwards you can scale back a little bit depending on how competitive your term is. Usually if you can spatter 10 a day, you don't want to make this look unusual to Google either, right? And I don't recommend that you use services like Fiverr or go to Odesk or something and outsource doing your backlinks, because especially if this is a fresh video or a fresh site, Google's going to be able to tell if all of a sudden you're getting 100 or thousands of backlinks every day. And so we just want to spatter this a little bit just to get the pump primed here. Okay, so and I'm going to show you a method to go out and get these. The reason I put .com, .edu, and .gov in here is because everybody knows, go get .com backlinks, but the .edu and the .gov are considered much more higher ranking.
You just want to quickly explain what a .edu and a .gov is for the people on the call?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, .gov obviously would be anything that would be a government site, and believe it or not, government sites often will have blog-like software on it and allow you to make comments. So I'll give you a couple of methods to go out and find those kind of sites. And .edu is an educational entity, so it could be a university, it could be a school, all sorts of those kinds of things. And they're given a higher priority status by Google when it scans. So even if it's not a high PR site, it's still considered to be a very quality link, because they're hard to get too. But I'm going to give you a method here to.
So what you're saying is the .edu and the .gov carry more weight than, say, even a .com. Would you say that?
Depending on the PR ranking, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is given a higher ranking.
So in other words, Google favors the .edu and .gov because they're, I guess, what you could call trusted over than say like somebody like a .info who isn't like, and that's pretty much known as a spamming type domain.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I didn't put .org, but .org are nice. They're not as high quality as the .edu or .gov, but Google does love .orgs because it's typically information and news sites.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a very good link to go get to. And I'll give you a method to go get those backlinks here in a minute. Okay. And then once you've done that, what we want to do, you got to recognize this is this is a big spider web called the interwebs that we have out here. And what we've done is, let's just pretend Google Spider is off over in the corner sleeping. What we've done is we put a fly in the middle of his web. But he doesn't yet know that that fly's there. It's a nice big juicy fly, and we want him to come, eat it. But he doesn't know, Google doesn't know it's there yet, the Google Spider. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go out and we're going to rattle the web so that he knows that something's out there and he's going to wake up and come over and get it. So that's why it's the only analogy that I can think of to give you. So what we want to do is go to the social media updates, Twitter, your Facebook page, do some bookmarking if you've got the ability to do that. And what we want to do is just kind of wake up that spider by putting the link into those social media places and bookmarking them. And so what that's going to do, obviously, is give us a little bit of human activity, and that's what Google likes to see. Even if it's a little bit. It doesn't have to be tons. It doesn't have to be viral. It just has to be something. And so we're going to prime the pump there. That's back to that triad that I was talking about earlier. we need to get some activity. And when I say activity, I mean every time you do a backlink, every time you post some new information, every time you upload a new video, we want to go do this for each one so that we get, even if it's 4 or 5 click-throughs from your Facebook page, at least there's some kind of human activity there. And that tells Google that it's real. And then finally what we want to do is go to Pingler, which is a ping service. And I'm not going to go into detail on that because I know Carl did a previous video on it. If you want to know something about it, you can go, I'm sure Carl will show you that video, and he gives a good explanation of how to use Pingler. But basically it's just going to go out and do the same thing. It's going to rattle the web and tell Google that, hey, I've got a new piece of information here, and you have to come and see it. And so what I want you to do is use Pingler. All you have to do is go in and you can download an extension that can go into Firefox or Chrome, or you can go to the actual site, and there's a paid version where you can put in your URLs, and it will automatically, every time you do an update on your blog or every time you do an update on YouTube, it will automatically do this for you. If you want to do it for free, then you have to do it manually. So what you'll do is that each time you put a new YouTube video out there, or each time you do a new post on your blog, you just go to Pingler, put that URL into Pingler, and do a ping. And all that's going to do is tell Google, hey, there's something new here, come see it. And you keep doing that for each time you do a new update and for each time you do a backlink. So the site that you're backlinking from, come back, put that into Pingler, and let Google know, because then the spider will come out real quick and spider that backlink, and you'll get ranking much faster. And FeedBurner, you want to register your URL in there so that you have the RSS feeds updating. So, and FeedBurner, by the way, is owned by Google. Anytime you can use a Google entity, please do it, because obviously Google's giving better rankings to the entities that they own. So, and FeedBurner is one of them. Okay, and then the final thing here is do some Guerrilla backlinking, and all I mean by that is, you know, there's a few ways that you can get some really high PR ranking backlinks. You don't need many of them, even one. A backlink, by the way, if you look at a PR0 to a PR1 backlink and compare them, it's algorithmic. So in other words, what I mean by that is you get a PR0 backlink and you go to a PR1 backlink, that's 10 times more powerful. So in other words, if you get one backlink on a PR0, one backlink on a PR1, that's like getting 10 backlinks on a PR0. So if you do the math and go up to, say, I think if I'm correct, if you go to a PR5 website, that's like getting 10,000 PR0s. So you can tell it's much easier to get one of those kind of PR backlinks than it is to go out and get 10,000 PR0s, obviously.
So what you're saying is the more PR, or the higher the PR, the faster and easier and less page rank you'll need.
Exactly. So I'll give you one quick example of what I mean by Guerrilla backlinking. You know how in item number 1 above we talked about the 666 method of creating video? Well, you're also doing a post on that too, or a transcript. So now you've got 18 chapters of a book done because you've got 18 pieces of content. So if you can think about those first 18 pieces of content in terms of the chapters of a book and follow that story arc so that it makes sense from one item to the next and it's a congruent story, what you can do is now recycle that content, use it, and you can create, there's lots of resources out there that you can use to publish your own PDF book, you know, your own ebook. And so what you want to do is take that content, recycle it into a book, and then you can go to Amazon. You can actually register to upload it into there so that people can download either a PDF of it, or you can even do a Kindle version of it now. And if you do one of those, what you do is you get it in there. You can put it up for sale, but put it up for sale for something like 99 cents, you know, something that's really easy for somebody to buy. And then what you want to do is backlink to that site so that you get some human activity going to it. I don't really care if anyone buys it or not. What I'm looking for here is the backlink, because Amazon, last time I checked, was I think a PR8. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Carl.
Yeah, it'd be obviously up there.
Yeah, and so once you get even just a small PDF book into Amazon that's up there for sale, they will, and you get some human activity going to it, and you've got some backlinks. Now they will allow you to put an author title into Amazon. So now, and on the author title, you can have a little bio about yourself. You can have your website, and you can put as many references to your websites as you want. So you can have your YouTube in there. You can have your Facebook in there. So think of all the power behind those kind of backlinks from a big Guerrilla website like Amazon. So that's what I mean by that. So it's a real simple technique to do that. And then, of course, number 8, which is a bonus one, rinse and repeat. Keep on doing it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a quick little sample. Am I going over time here, Carl?
Just a couple of people have had to go because of obviously time zones and whatnot. But yeah, let's just cover like for a couple of minutes here. Now you're looking to do a case study, is that correct?
Yeah, I just want to give you a real quick, this is really easy. I'm going to give you a real quick way to go get those backlinks. Right. So what you want to do, I don't know if you can put this this is a search phrase term. And you don't have to understand what it means or why it works. Just use this exact phrase and put that right into Google, into the search. And what this phrase is going to do is it's going to come back. Now, obviously, don't put keyword phrase. You want to put whatever keyword that you're trying to rank for right in there. And what this is going to do when you come back in here to Google, I think I've already done one. Yeah, so what this is going to do, I've got it right up here, so I put that exact one in, and all I did was I put in the keyword catering. And all that's going to do is it's going to come back and it's going to tell you all the WordPress blogs that you can go comment on and get a backlink from, which will allow you to also put your URL in there. And that's very important because if you there's a lot of sites out there that allow you to put a comment, but if you can't put your URL, you don't get the backlink. So this search string is just simply allowing you to find those kind of sites to be able to comment on that allow you to put your URL in it.
And also, just to be clear as well, just for the people on the call, what Shane's doing here, as you can see, he's actually finding blogs within the catering niche. So it's actually relevant to your website if you are obviously about catering. So I know there's a number of people on the call. So say, for example, like I was going after internet marketing. I would exchange that word catering for internet marketing and go find blogs that are relevant to mine, because that's the other thing that Google likes, is that you have relevant content as well as relevant links back to your site, not from some, I don't know, cooking site if you're about internet marketing. So it kind of doesn't make any sense. So try and make it as themed as possible or as close to your niche and relevant as possible.
Yeah, that's a good point. I neglected to tell everyone that. The reason that we do this, obviously, to put the keyword in here is for that very reason. You want to find relevant sites that have similar content to yours, because if all of a sudden you start posting and you want to put something in there, you want to put a backlink about catering, but you're on something that's talking about hockey, then there's an incongruency there. And Google can pick up on that. I mean, they have over 200 PhD mathematicians on working on their algorithm all the time. They know if you're putting those kind of backlinks out there that it's spammy. So what we're trying to do here is find relevant content blogs for you to go in and put a comment to get a backlink. And this is a real easy.
Can you just quickly copy that from the notepad into the chat box for me?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because there's a couple of people asking for the actual script. So just remember, people, change the keyword phrase to your particular niche that you're going after. And I'll include this within the notes as well.
Yeah. And so now the other thing that I wanted to just note, because you can use this for other things too. You see how it says in URL blog, and back over here it says site.com.
Can you just remove that highlighting just to make it clear?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Can you see that better now?
That's better.
Would it be better if I made this a little larger too?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Is that a little better?
Lovely. Just do a line wrap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, format. No, just do format. Oh, okay, that's fine.
Can you see that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so right here where it says .com, all you have to do is change that to .org or .edu or .gov, and then you're going to find those kind of sites as well.
Fantastic.
Okay, so there's a way to find 4 different kinds of high-quality backlinks for you. That
Fantastic. So that's the free method. Fantastic. That's great.
Right. And I just in trying to be a little quick here, I found one that was a PR. Oh, by the way, I think Carl mentioned too to put in the SEO Quake add-on to either Chrome or Firefox, and then if you do that, you're going to get this little thing that tells you if it's a PR0 or a PR1 or whatever. This site was initially, this page is a PR0, but the site is a PR3, so you're going to get some link juice out of that. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the post, what you want to be able to do in here, you want to contribute to the conversation on this, right? So you can put in your author name, you can put in your email, you can put in your URL, and when you do the post, try to contribute to the conversation and make it sensible. I mean, if you're in this business, then you don't want to make a spammy thing like say, you know, that was great content, thanks. Chances are, I mean, some of these comments are moderated, obviously, so chances are if they see a spammy comment like that that doesn't contribute to the conversation, they may not approve it.
Now,
if you're going out there doing this work,
sorry, yeah, I think you're about to cover it, but just inside the author, you can either put your name or your keyword. So say, for example, I'm in the wedding niche, obviously if it's to do with photography or whatever, what I would do is, yeah, exactly, that's the perfect, yeah, Ted the chef catering. Is it? You want to read that? Yeah, Ted the chef catering.
Yeah, so you don't want to make it look spammy. If you said catering, then it would look spammy. But if I say I'm Ted the chef catering, then that doesn't look so spammy, right? So you got to be sensible about it. Okay, so that's the method to go get some backlinks for free. And what I wanted to show you is just simply, actually what I'll do here is I'll show you what happened. This was actually a real live one that I did for a chef. And he's a local guy, so if I type in his geographic identifier with the word catering, you'll see now what's going to come up here is going to be his Google Places page, because I've optimized that. He's #1 on Google Places, TK's Catering, that's his company. But if I go to videos, you're going to see, and we only did, I think we did half a dozen videos for him. We didn't even go the full 666. It's a little bit slow here.
Now you might want to turn off SEO Quake.
Pardon me?
You might want to turn off SEO Quake because it's obviously loading a ton of stuff.
Ah, right. It's slowing me down here.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, it's going to make me a liar of me here now, because when I checked this earlier, it was he had five videos ranking. I don't know why all of a sudden it's different. Maybe if I do phrase match.
Yeah.
Although I didn't do this phrase match before. Yeah, okay. So you can see he's actually got multiple listings. He's #1 on the search results here, and he's got 6 videos, multiple listings right off the get-go. So obviously he's got, you know, when we go back to that heat map thing, he's going to get 40–45% of the click-throughs. And when we did the research on that particular keyword, it was about 400 searches a month just for that one, and now we've optimized 6 other keywords for him. So he's getting about 3,000 visitors a month now.
Wow,
that doesn't seem like very much, but when you're a local business that wasn't getting that before, that's huge.
Yeah. So
he's also sitting down here with other videos too. These are all his videos. All
just an example there. So when before this, like Ted the chef came to you, can you share like the before and after? Like he was getting this before and after the results, this is what he was getting?
Yeah, so this is what happened. He hired a person who, believe it or not, was an MBA in marketing, and they were in charge of making sure that they could brand him and get his website up, and so he created a brand new website. He spent almost $15,000 creating all of his branding and website and everything, and he was still only on page 9. And the reason for that was when, you know, most of these website developers that create it, they don't know about SEO, so they don't have the title tags, they don't have the description fields, they don't even use WordPress blogs to create these things. So he was on page 9 for his main keyword that he should have been right up front for, you know, especially when you put a geographic identifier in. So So when I went in, we started off with just we were going to do the 666 video thing, and I think we only ended up doing 6 videos, and he was already ranking. And to tell you the truth, you can see the dates on some of these videos. It was 2 years ago. I haven't touched it since.
Mm.
And it took us just about 30 days to get him ranking, because we were trying to do it with his existing website instead of creating a new one. I probably could have done it quicker if I created him a new one. But within 30 days, he was getting 3,000 new visitors every month.
And that's mainly all through video, is that correct?
That was all through video, along with a blog post. And I'm going to show you how I do the blog post so that you can get the backlink from there as well. And the reason I do this is because this is one that I just did for a photographer. And you can see I just did this within the last couple of weeks. We've created him 3 videos now, and his videos are now ranking for his main keyword number 1, 2, and 3. And even in the and that's in the video search results, obviously. But even in the natural search results, he's sitting on page 2 right now, about 3 down. And I think that by the time we get to the 6th video, we'll probably be on the first page for natural search. And the reason is that what I've done here is I put a blog post with the embedded video. And I've got my keywords in here. Toronto Glamour Photography is what I'm trying to rank for. So what I do right away is in the first sentence, I put a post here that's probably about 500 words long. But you can see I also do an anchor text right away. Glamour Photography, because that's what I want to be able to rank for. I didn't put Toronto Glamour Photography because I don't want to make it look spammy and keyword stuff. And if you read through the article, you'd see that there's other common terminology that I've used in here, other reference keywords.
Photo shoot, yeah.
This is the one I've anchor text. So if you click on that anchor text, then what happens is I've linked it back to the actual YouTube video.
Nice.
And so that's, if Neil is still listening here, that's the trick that I was talking about, because in the description field on YouTube, obviously you can only put, the deep link page, or you can put your natural naked link, but you can't put anchor text in here, obviously. So this is the way that you can tell Google what this video is about using anchor text.
Fantastic.
And that's simply by putting a blog post in with the proper anchor text and embedding the video and then linking it back, and then going and into Pingler and letting Google know that it's there. Then the Google Spider will come spider your blog. It will scan that. It will see the anchor text. It will see that you've embedded that video in there. It will see that the file name of that video is your keyword, and then it will follow it back to YouTube and say, wow, okay, this must be about glamour photography then, because I can see it all over the place. So that's how we get the anchor text for a YouTube video.
Fantastic. All right, we're going to have to wrap that up there. You just want to, is that the end of your presentation there?
This is the last slide, if you want me to do that one.
Yeah, sure. Just do that, and we'll wrap that one up. And then we'll have a couple of quick questions, and then we'll shoot across the field and see how everyone's traveling from there.
Okay. So just in summary, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we understand the searcher intent. So when somebody's searching online, they're typically not searching to buy. They're searching to research, or they're searching to get information, or they're searching to solve a problem. So that's exactly what we want to serve them up. We want to be able to make sure that we have to get into the head or into the mindset of the prospect. And so if we know they're looking for information and we know they're looking to solve their problems, when they land on whatever it is that comes up on the top of Google, your video, your blog post, or whatever piece of information, make sure that you're serving them exactly that you're solving the problem, you're giving them the answers, and at some point in time, you can then move them somewhere else. So by that I mean, if they're on your Facebook page or they're on your YouTube page, my recommendation is bring them to an opt-in, squeeze the lead out of them, and then by doing so, you're moving them further and further down your sales funnel, so that by the time you touch them 7 times, which is in marketing terms, they've kind of worked out that it takes 7 touch points of information helping someone before they come to know, like, and trust you. Once they know, like, and trust you, they're much more highly likely to buy. So if you use the 80-20 rule, 80% of the time you serve them up content to help them solve their problems and give them the information you want. the other 20%, it's fine to serve them up a call to action to come, squeeze them through a squeeze page to get more detail, or to send them to a buy page. And last but not least, obviously, is persistence, and consistency is key. So keep, don't just stop and think that that's going to be fine, because soon you'll find that you'll not be on page 1. So just keep on, once you're there, keep on putting out that content, keep on backlinking, and you don't have to be doing 10 a day anymore, but a couple anyway. And that's about it.
Fantastic. Oh man, wow! There's a lot of info to take in there. So what we're going to quickly do now is just switch across to the questions over here. So guys, if you've got any questions on this particular section, you just want to pop them into the chat box there, so we can get those answered for you. And while that's getting ready, I'll switch across to Phil. If you want to get ready, Phil.
No worries.
Okay, the questions are coming in. Craig's asking, okay, so we are confused what keywords to pick for our niche. Okay.
I think Phil is probably going to go into how to find your keywords, is he not?
Yeah, we are going to be covering that, guys. So if you just want to hold off, but what we're trying to do is find the actual questions for this particular section here. Okay, so what are you using to embed the videos? What are you using to embed the videos in your blog so that you can use the keyword in the description?
Okay, it sounds like there's two questions there. So to embed the video into my blog, I just used, it was a plugin. It's a WordPress blog that I'm running there, and I just used a plugin. I think it was YouTube Embed plugin, I think is what it was called,
yep.
Literally. And Carl, I think you even did a video on how to put a plugin in so you can embed a video too, didn't you?
Steve, I just did for the actual competition that James ran. I actually created one using the JW player, which is pretty much one of the most popular ones out there. Besides, I think it's like the Flow player. So if you go to my YouTube channel, we'll obviously put some links into the chat box for that. But yeah, I literally show you how to install the plugin, how to set it all up, and also how to even optimize the actual player, because it's got a little bit of optimization tactics in there, so that you can embed it in there. And you just want to, Shane, on that one, the second part of the question was, how can you use the keyword in the description? Now, so that you can use the keyword in the description.
In the description or for the anchor text?
Okay, let's read the full question. What are you using to embed the video into your blog so that you can use the keyword in the description? So I'm presuming he means the anchor text. Is that correct, Steve? Yes.
Okay, so then so that I could embed the anchor text into the description field,
it was the
all you do is,
yeah, it was the anchor text that you did in the first part of the post.
Yeah, so in the on the actual blog, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, so to be able to do that anchor text, if you go into WordPress and you say create new post, if you go in and type in any word, all you do is highlight that word, and then if you look above, there's little icons that you can, format it or highlight it or whatever. There's a little icon there that looks like a chain, and you click on that, and that allows you to hyperlink the text. So you can put in any URL that you want, you can put in any anchor text name that you want, and you can even click on a little box that says open in a new window, so they won't actually leave your site when they go there. They'll open a new tab or a new window to get there. And it's real simple once you go in to see how to create a post in WordPress.
Fantastic. So are there any more questions before we switch across to Phil? If you just want to pop them into the chat box, that'd be great. It looks like we don't have any at the moment. Anyone typing? Okay. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. Yeah, so how do you get the keyword in the video description was what he was asking.
Oh, on the actual video itself. Okay, so when I create the video, when I'm going into my editing software, I use Sony Vegas or Camtasia. When you go to actually render your video, and it'll come up with a little screen that says save your video as, and a lot of times it comes up with a default. What you want to do is change that and make sure that your keyword is in there. So it's just the name of the file itself that you're saving before you upload it to YouTube or any other video hosting.
I think he's talking about the video description. Steve, is that when you upload it into YouTube in the description itself? Is that what you're saying? No, he got it. Okay, that's good. Yeah, cool. Gene is asking, so we don't like YouTube Lite anymore in WordPress? I'm presuming that's a plugin, Gina. As I said, there's probably 101 different plugins. All of them do different things. I mainly use the JW player because I'll go into why I use that one in a second, mainly because I have a video sitemap. Steve was talking about before the click-through rate of the top person typically gets about 42%. Well, I actually get a little bit higher than that, particularly when when you have a thumbnail inside the Google results. It actually typically gets anywhere up to like 18% more click-through because it's a video. So, as I said, like any sort of YouTube embedding program is fine. I just use the JW Play because it's the more popular one and there's probably a lot more support for it. But once again, it all comes down to personal choice. Cool, no worries. Now, are there any more questions before we kick across to Phil? Okay, we might have to just pause it there because we need to press on. So if we have any more questions, we'll obviously get to them at the end. So I just want to switch across to Phil. Hang on a sec. Can you copy and paste the code for backlinks? Yes, it is in the chat window, but I will offer a resource as a downloadable PDF resource for you guys so that you can obviously copy and paste that later on.